about 30 seconds, I'm going to call the first registered speaker. Everybody, if we can get started now. Everybody, if I can have your kind attention, please. Okay. Everybody, can we please get started? We have to be out of here by 10 o'clock. Boss's orders, so we have to start moving along. We want to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak.
Do you know if anyone's sitting?
Okay, thank you very much.
Someone, yes.
Now, Dan is going to call out the names of the folks who filled out cards when they first came in. Generally, what I like to do now is to just quickly run through how we run the comment period. And this is the way that keeps it orderly and also make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak, which is most important. We ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes, please. There's a lot of folks who want to speak here, and if you do the math, it'll run well over 2 or 3 hours. So we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. That's number one. Number two, there won't be any ceding of time. We have this once in a while where somebody said, oh, I only spoke for 4 minutes. We really want to get everybody's comment. So if you're done with your comment, we ask that you please relinquish the floor and let the next speaker come up. If you have any comments or you have to leave for any reason before your name is called, please feel free to contact the office or to send in a written comment. Written comments are very valuable for us because it gives us a tangible document to refer to the meeting content. So with that, I want to... oh, okay. Before we get started, I just want to point out there's several folks from the State Planning Commission here today. If I can just, when I call their name, just raise their hand. John Eskelson. Monique Purcell, Joyce Paul, and Andy Soares. Thank you. Barbara Ames. You first. Hey. I guess you can use the mic. It's breaking up.
All right, I'm addressing you, so it's my turn. Okay, thank you for a chance to be here this evening. I have read the draft of this state's plan and redevelopment plan. I have some major concerns with the goals and the specific recommendations of it. To start with, what I read in the plan is not what I hear you saying. I recently read a book entitled The Road to Serfdom. It's by an Austrian economist by the name of Hayek. He was a protege of Ludwig von Mises, an Austrian by birth. He spent World War II in London at the School of Economics. His book was published in ⁴, before the end of the war. Over the last 60 years, this book has established itself alongside the works of Alexis de Tocqueville and George Orwell for its timeless meditation on the relationship between individual liberty and the government authority. Mr. Hayek's view, simply stated, is that the centralization of economic planning by government inexorably and unquestionably leads to bad things, specifically to totalitarian government. He documents the experience of Europe, and specifically Germany, in attempting to grow its way out of World War I by having the government gain total control over economic decisions and the planning for business and growth. As government control grew, it ultimately, he states, consolidated the power of the market into the government, which resulted in the rise of a strong man who could control it all, Adolf Hitler. As we know, that didn't end very well for Germany, the other Axis powers, or the United States and its allies. When I read the state strategic plan, I saw many similarities between what the state of New Jersey is seeking to accomplish with its plan and central planning as warned against by Mr. Hayek. The plan seeks to create an overall map and strategy for identifying areas of the state that would be encouraged to grow and those that will be discouraged or prohibited from growth that might be desired by its residents and its local elected officials. Words are used such as incentives and scorecards to encourage and penalize towns where the local plans for growth conflict with that of the state. Certain businesses or industries will be identified to be located in certain corridors, which puts the state in the position of deciding what type of businesses the state or that region of the state needs. There will be vertical integration, which will allow the state to eliminate encumbrances to implementation, including the messiness of local control. We have seen this kind of planning not only in 20th century Germany, but in the Soviet Union, Cuba, and many other totalitarian regimes. How did central planning work out for them? Why has America enjoyed the freedom and economic prosperity that it has for more than 200 years? Is it a coincidence that free markets, capitalism, and the ingenuity of American business with skin in the game to make decisions have made those decisions that allowed this country to be a beacon for the rest of the world, an example that other countries may have tried to emulate, but few have succeeded to the extent that America has. We live in a time that I believe is a turning point for the future of this country. We can continue down the road of ever larger and more powerful government and central planning, or we can leave those decisions to the businesses and communities that know best what they need and want to succeed. While the governor is Republican, the party which used to stand for smaller government and individual liberty, this is the plan that seeks, like the Democratic Party, to allow government to grow, because somehow that government knows what is good for business and the state and its people. Historically, time and time again, that kind of planning has not worked well for the people of the world. There is no reason to think it will work any better this time. As the saying goes, those who fail to remember history are condemned to repeat it. Please do not adopt this plan as written. And I would like to give you several... I'd like to leave you with several plans of the book. I would like you to give one to the governor and to Lieutenant Governor Guadagno, and you're welcome to one. I have several books. It would be my gift to you. Please read them, along with the Agenda 21 information.
Thank you, Barbara. Don Walker. I'll apologize in advance if we mess anyone's name up.
Hi, I've already spoken, and I couldn't say much more and better than what Barbara said, but basically what Von Mises would say is that you have 8 million people in the state of New Jersey, but there's 565 towns, and what you're looking to do is you're looking to take 565 towns, centralize the decisions in Trenton. That always fails, because you cannot know what 565 towns know about themselves. You can't know what 8 million people know about their own properties who can petition their local government. But when you take the government decisions and you stick them in one spot, I don't know how many people you could hire, but certainly even if you hired hordes of people, you could not understand the local circumstances of every community. So this is the problem. Right? I don't care if this is Agenda 21 or it's not Agenda 21. If it's a plan and it's centrally planned, it will result in bad things. That's it.
Thank you. Mike Kerwin.
Hello. Okay, there you go. Hi, my name is Mike Kerwin. I am President and CEO of the Somerset County Business Partnership. We are a unique organization acting as a Chamber of Commerce for Somerset County. We are also partners with the Somerset County freeholders in providing economic development services to our area. We are also the designated marketing organization to promote tourism in Somerset County. Let me thank you by recognizing the business partnership and the strategic plan. That is an organization that is looking to work with you to promote economic development on a regional level. The state strategic plan starts with the words, New Jersey is a crossroads. We agree with that assessment. We recognize New Jersey continues to be ranked dead last among the states in terms of business tax climate, and we have still not recovered private sector jobs lost during the Great Recession. However, our position is New Jersey is getting its economic development house in order. Following in the footsteps of the partnership, there's a state-created public-private partnership, Choose New Jersey, that isn't working effectively with the EDA and the Business Action Center to coordinate delivery of comprehensive program of services to companies looking to grow and locate here. Our incentive programs are now competitive with other states. And we also support the Lieutenant Governor in leading a task force to streamline business regulations to make New Jersey more business friendly. I think our willingness to address our challenges is starting to pay dividends. New Jersey's innate competitive advantages are starting to reemerge, and companies are rediscovering the benefits of our educated workforce, superior location, and quality of life. The partnership supports the strategic plan as proposed. Specifically, its focus on coordinating public-private investment to attract targeted economic growth. Our approach here in Somerset County will be to work with the private sector to prepare an agenda. We were successful in getting federal funding to prepare a comprehensive economic development strategy. We will use that funding to work with the private sector that identify projects of regional significance that the private sector, not government, but the private sector needs to grow their business. We believe that this approach will be effective, and you can see this gives us an historic opportunity to improve our competitive position by advocating for a project that's a project that the private sector needs to grow, that supports the state economic development objectives, and this is important, that are located in priority growth areas that the towns designate. The towns in Somerset County will designate where they want the growth to occur. They will be designated as priority growth areas. They will be shown on the county master plan, and they will be accepted by the state of New Jersey, I am sure. So the point is, growth will be directed in areas that the towns designate. The SEDS project that we are working on will identify projects that the private sector needs to grow, and then in return, we hope that the state strategic plan guides development and investment to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you,
Rob Freudenberg.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, and thanks for this opportunity to weigh in on this plan. My name is Robert Freudenberg. I'm the New Jersey Director for Regional Plan Association, which is one of the nation's oldest independent metropolitan planning organizations, and a strong believer in plans. New Jersey has been a national leader in planning at the state level, with state planning mapped since the 1930s. The importance of a single state plan is significant as it serves a common vision, policy, and implementation strategy for state agencies, as well as between the state, county, and local governments. With the release of this draft strategic state plan, there is a promising opportunity to shape the plan that will encourage future development in a way that maximizes economic growth, community revitalization, and protection of our critical natural resources, while addressing some of the flaws of the past plans. To ensure that this plan is viable, implementable, and effective, we offer the following recommendations on the strategic plan's 4 goals, developed in collaboration with our own New Jersey committee. Above all else, as we have the opportunity here tonight, we like to see meaningful stakeholder participation. No plan is a silver bullet, as everyone says, and there will be frequent opportunities to improve this plan over time. Stakeholder input will help to drive these improvements. In terms of the first goal of targeted economic growth, we want to make sure that there are linkages between clusters and centers. Much of New Jersey's growth will take place by its nature and by the infrastructure that's there in its urban centers, the places where the next generation demands to live and work. The strategic plan should help develop stronger links between urban centers and industry clusters, including incentivizing support services and centers, promoting quality and range of housing opportunities for workers, and ensuring the necessary infrastructure to support them. We encourage the state to support the capacity, not necessarily the industry. The state should be careful not to throw its full support behind any one industry. Today's top performer may be tomorrow's loser. Instead, focus resources where they can on those elements of the cluster that will outlive any particular industry. As these clusters are developed, there should be an understanding of the workforce. The state should understand the skills and demographics of the current workforce to help ensure rapid employment, and where skills are lacking, workforce training can play an important role. and the state should expand its facilitation of partnerships between industry and higher education to include the state's numerous vocational and technical high schools to ensure that all segments of the workforce are well equipped to work in the state's industry clusters. And the state should look across clusters for efficiencies as well. In terms of the criteria for vibrant regions, the state should be sure to test the criteria, working with the local officials and county officials to run exercises to determine how effective these criteria are. And once they're implemented, the state should allow ample time to determine how well they're working before eliminating the current map. The state should use an effective toolbox of incentives. The state only has so much it can do to support planning in these areas. They should make sure that the incentives are effective and that they work well together and that they truly drive growth and protection in priority areas. Growth in the priority areas and protection of the preservation areas. The state should develop a coordinated and transparent process. The state will ultimately need to design a transparent procedure for how projects are submitted, evaluated, and approved for incentives. They should use the Garden State Values to help develop the priorities of these projects. And the state should have a focus on design. There should be design, in the past plan, it was very effective to show how the areas could look and that there's a focus on high quality design to develop the places that people want to be in. In terms of the third goal of enhancement of critical resources, there should be a broadened measurement of the critical resources. Not all benefits can be measured through an economic lens. There should be strong protection of water, air, and wildlife and natural resources for the sake of healthy functioning ecosystems. And there should be a look towards investing in green infrastructure. There's a great opportunity to use landscapes as a way to help the state and help this state use its natural resources to save on money of gray infrastructure. In terms of tactical alignment of government, we believe this is a strong move on the state, and we want the state legislature to be involved. We think there should be clear targets and goals for which they should be measured over time. The prior plan didn't have so many goals and targets. We want to see that this plan is working with goals and targets. And finally, be consistent. This plan must supersede election-driven decisions. Projects that are inconsistent with the plan or in areas not designated as priority areas should not receive the support. RPA is encouraged by the pragmatic approach taken by the state in developing this plan that aims to balance economic growth and resource protection, and we feel our recommendations will help to ensure a more effective, implementable, and enduring plan. We urge the State Planning Commission to consider these recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Sandy Batty.
Hi, I'm Sandy Batty. I'm the Executive Director of the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions. In Jersey, we've been working, we're a nonprofit that's worked with municipal environmental commissions for over 40 years. We've been involved with the state plan through its iterations and ever since the State Planning Act was passed in 1985. We really believe that New Jersey needs a strong state plan. Such a plan would provide common vision, policy, and implementation strategies across the state and also between levels of government. So you'd involve the municipalities, the counties, and the state in such a plan. Such planned growth can discourage sprawl with its huge cost of land consumption, requiring enormous expenditures of energy that we don't need to waste there, and extensive roads and other infrastructure that has to be maintained by the taxpayers far into the future. This plan needs to achieve its goals, but it can't do that without the cooperation of municipalities, and because they are delegated with land use planning powers by the state. I think this plan needed to go through cross-acceptance. It is not, the plan itself is a 40-page document that nowhere resembles the 300-page document that went through cross-acceptance. I think the State Planning Act set up the process of cross-acceptance so municipalities, counties, and the state could work together to find agreement. And maybe what we're seeing is that we haven't reached that state yet because we really didn't go through cross-acceptance on this plan. As other people have said there are ambiguities in the plan, and there's places where it's not clear. It needs to set boundaries for growth, and as well as incentives. The only boundaries it sets are for outright purchase, but we don't have enough money in this state to purchase all the land that we need to preserve. We have to look at other ways to protect our land and to protect our drinking water sources, as well as to develop within the means that we have in our hands as far as our own state finances.